Almost. There we go. You are live.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Want to welcome everybody to our Medicare training. Like I said, we've been going through a lot of AHIP training, certification training, different boring Medicare driving stuff like that. We are getting closer and closer to selling season. We're now down to 80 some days before we get actually into selling season. So wanted to kind of go through a lot of things. As you all go through AHIP, you learn that there's a lot of compliance. As you go through certification, each carrier's got compliance, things of that nature. I also get a lot of questions of how am I supposed to quote different carriers? Last week, we talked about CSG app. We talked about rubbing up a Medicare supplement to a Medicare Advantage plan. And I mentioned that you would quote Medicare Advantage in a different system, such as Sunfire. So with your same login to Medicare Center, once you've been trained and certified with the carriers, with that same login to Medicare Center, like I said, we go through that to get to CSG, which we talked about last week. This week, we're going to go through it and talk about Sunfire Matrix. Okay. So you'll click your login like normal. There we go. That's my national producer number. If you ever don't remember yours, please feel free to remember mine and put it on any applications. But like I said, we're going to go into, this time we're going to go into Sunfire Matrix. And we're going to talk about Sunfire Matrix for a couple of different reasons. One, as we talked about with CSG app, that is not exactly a great tool for quoting Medicare Advantage. It doesn't take into account doctors. You can get to drugs, but it's clunky. It's hard to work with. But hey, you're trying to quote something that's outside of Medicare, an ancillary product with a Medicare Advantage or even a Medicare supplement, match that up with your PDP and quote both prices at once. Hey, perfect, great, wonderful. Medicare Sunfire Matrix is through this Medicare link number or link. You might be used to Lead Center, buying final expense leads, but even buying Medicare leads. You can do that through Lead Center. Medicare link, you would go through this door. It would log you into a Sunfire Matrix. So today we're going to use Skylar as a client. And once we get into Sunfire Matrix, I'm going to show you how it's going to walk through creating a client. Okay. So let's just, in a hypothetical scenario, Skylar's called me out of the blue. Hey, I'd like more information about Medicare. Okay. Under compliance rules, I have to record that conversation, correct? But there's a lot of information in there that they want me to talk about and all of these other things. So how do we get through all of that compliance without actually sounding like we're reading a script and all of those other things? In the past, we've talked about form and needs, talking about warming up the client, talking to them about their family, what occupations they might have had, what they did for fun in the last little bit. Then we talk about me a little bit to warm up the client. And then we talk about their needs. What do they have now? What type of doctors, drugs, things of that nature? What do they enjoy about their benefits that they have now? And then what would they add or change to their benefits? Okay. Then we talk about a decision maker, then I summarize and so on and so forth. We're going to skip through all of that. Okay. We're still going to do the doctors and drugs with Sunfire Matrix, right? But I'm going to skip over that warm up and that needs analysis. And now we're actually getting down to the quoting part. Okay. So we'll get the information from the client. We'll create a pretend client.
You can put my name in there. That's all right.
Skylar, super agent.
Sweet.
How old do we want to make you, Skylar?
Well, let's make me over Medicare age. So go ahead and put me in 1949. How about that?
Okie dokie. October 28, 1949. We're going to add a new contact. Sorry. I'm doing it in the wrong space. Super agent. We'll skip over like the physical address. What's a zip code do you want to use? West Coast, East Coast, I don't care. Pick one.
Let's go West Coast, 98682. Vancouver, Washington.
98682. Boy, you rattled that off fast. And we'll say he likes text messages just for now, click none. So we'll skip over the phone and all of that other stuff. So we've gone through this concept. We've got this client on the phone. Okay. We've gotten their basic information. And now I need to turn around in this conversation and start quoting this person. Okay. That's where we've gotten to, just hypothetically, to speed things along. Now we're going to go into save and quote. I can put in a Medicare number to look up this person. With their permission, I can click this box to get started. I'd like to look up your zip code, blah, 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 so on and so forth. I already have his zip code. So if I click this, we can look him up with his Medicare number. We're not going to do that today. Okay. But if I hypothetically did that, it would tell me what plan Skylar is currently on. Okay. So it would pop up here at the top of the screen. Oh, Skylar's on a, we'll pretend you're on a MedSup and a PDP. Okay. So Skylar's on a, it won't tell me what MedSup it is because that's not coordinated with Medicare. But his Medicare number will tell me exactly what drug plan he's on. Most of the time, the system will even tell me when he enrolled into it and whether or not he has any low income subsidies. Okay. So that's the advantage of getting that trust with that client, going through all of that warm up form and needs. I need your trust built up that you're going to give me your Medicare number so I can really crack open and see everything. But we're going to hypothetically say no. So we said that he's on a MedSup. Okay. But we've talked through this, and in this particular case, Skylar, what is your issue? What let's just crack into this real quick. Why are you calling me today, Skylar?
Well, I'm paying too much for my stuff, and I don't seem to be getting the attention that I need. So
okay.
my drugs cost too much.
Okay, not a problem. So we've kind of gone through this needs analysis. He is crying about, I don't like the premiums that I am paying for. Okay. Hypothetically speaking, as we're doing this needs analysis, what are kind of your what do you like about the plans that you have now, and what would you like to change?
Well, I do like that, you know, when I do go see the doctor, I don't have to pay very much, but you know, what I have to pay in the beginning of the month is way too much as well. What I don't like is, you know, it's hard sometimes to find a doctor. And I need some other stuff. I need some dental and maybe some vision. Okay. It doesn't have that. So, you know,
okay.
That's
so in short, based off of this needs analysis with this client, we have decided that I'm not going to quote a MedSup. This system is capable of doing it. Okay. He has a drug plan already. So me quoting him an MA only plan that does not have drugs would not do me any good. Okay. So I need to quote him either a Medicare Advantage plan or a special needs plan. It doesn't seem like I'm based off of his information. He's not telling me he's got Medicaid, so on and so forth. So we're going to skip over the special needs and basically go straight into a Medicare Advantage plan. This is where most of your Medicare clients are going to end up landing based off of the conversations that you're having. So I'm going to take Medicare supplement out of the equation and put in a Medicare Advantage plan. Are you currently enrolled in a Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage or a Part D plan? Yes, in his case, he is. What's a plan that's common out there out west for a drug plan?
For a drug plan, put the Humana Walmart plan. Or just, it's not Walmart anymore. It's just the Humana.
Humana.
Basic RX PDP.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's the plan that he's basically on. Now, not a problem. Great. Now we understand where this client is. We've heard their information. We understand that this client needs relief. We'll call it financial relief. Okay. Whether it's, hey, I'm paying too much for my drugs, the deductible is killing me, the premiums are killing me. Just the Part B deductible alone eats me alive in some cases. Okay. Because a lot of folks set it and forget it. Hey, I've got a med sup. That's the way I set up my drugs. That's the way I set up my medical coverage. That's what I do. Right. And then all of a sudden, 5, 6, 7 years down the road, they start, oh, I don't like this. This hurts. Okay. All of these other things, as we've talked about in the past, all of these other prices have gone up, groceries, inflation, so on and so forth. So now let's talk a little bit about, you had mentioned to me, Skylar, that you like to be able to go out and about, but I got the impression that you didn't have somebody that's like the quarterback of all of your coverage. Did you have what is considered a PCP or a primary care specialist that you see on a regular basis? Or do you just go see a specialist here and there and go to a kind of an urgent care when you're?
Well, no, I have a primary care, Dr. Lee.
Oh, okay. Dr. Lee.
Go ahead and put Dr. Lee in there. Yep.
So let's see. Let's make sure we've got Dr. Lee in here so we make sure that you can continue to see Dr. Lee. Just
one, I think it's just 1E.
Oh, 1E. Okie dokie. This one? I'm not even going to attempt to murder that name. Is that the correct PCP?
Or actually, go LI. Sorry, it's LI.
LI. Okay. You are being very much like a real client. Thank you, Skylar. This is a great real time. Is it Dr. Cameron Lee by chance?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. I'm going to verify that that's the address that you are seeing this client at, because sometimes this computer will pop up 4, 5, 6 different addresses.
Yep.
Okay. If this doctor kind of bounces around and they have admitting rights into different hospitals and things of that nature, that's why you're going to get multiple addresses. Okay. So I want to make sure that this is where they're seeing this, because if this doctor is bouncing from location to location, sometimes you'll have multiple locations and some are in network and some are not. Okay. Just as you as the agent, the client doesn't need to know that, but I want to verify that, yes, that's the Dr. Cameron we're talking about. Okay. And so it shows up as a PCP. Now, are there any specialists? I know you mentioned some specialists. Are there any specialists that you see on a regular basis?
Let's try Andrews. Christopher.
All right. Anybody else that we need to make sure that we keep in mind to make sure that I always, and as I break out of role play and into the agent, talking to the agent here again, I always make sure that I am stressing, I want to make sure I am keeping your coverage as inexpensive as possible.
Yep.
So that's why I keep pulling this thread. Do you have something else? Okay. Because I don't want them to pop up in March or April, especially if it's April and they're stuck in their plan potentially, and then they can't get out of their plan and they're like, hey, I need to go see Dr. So-and-so. I needed to know about Dr. So-and-so beforehand.
Actually, Paul, at this point for me, because I have clients that start going through like a list of like 10 doctors, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll go, okay, are these doctors that you just cannot live without? How often do you see them?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time? I only saw them once back in 2016. Yeah. Well, that's not necessarily a doctor we need to put on this list.
Right. And so we need to start sort of separating. These are the ones that are truly important. These are the ones you're seeing on a regular basis. Okay. Yeah. I know that Dr. So-and-so saved you from a heart attack 10 years ago. That's fine and wonderful. Right. But you haven't seen him in 8 years.
Right.
He saved you 10 years ago. You haven't seen him in 8 years. You want to make sure you have the ability to see him. Great. Now, as the agent, I am hearing I need flexibility of coverage. So now I'm going down the PPO path, especially if somebody's on a med sup. I'm not going to shove them into an HMO and then they have to deal with networks. Let's talk about a med sup. Okay. That takes you back to the previous conversation of now let me see that CSG training from last week. So now I'm putting a hospital indemnity in there as well. But let's fast forward a little bit. Let's just pretend these are the only two doctors that are super busy for him. Now, let's talk a little bit about, let me make sure I'm covering any medications that your PDP was covering. Okay, so what medications are you currently taking?
Well, I have the blood pressure medicine. It starts with an L.
Yeah. So if they start giving you that and you don't, like me, know automatically that, oh, everybody on the planet has lisinopril, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, even prior to the appointment, I will ask my client, please make sure you have your Medicare and any drugs that you are taking available and handy to you. That way we can even look up, is it lisinopril or is it the hydrochloride, right? Which one is it? Because the computer will spit out that metformin can cost $40,000, right? The other drug that every person on the planet takes, but see here is how many milligrams of lisinopril do you take? Because the tier may change depending on how many milligrams you are taking. Okay. So in that case, you may want to take your doctor that says, hey, I want this person to be on 40 milligrams. If that throws them up on an additional tier, tell your doctor to give you 2 a day of 20 milligrams to drop their tiers, drop their dosages, okay? Because you as the insurance agent are out there to save this client money. That's why the client called. I'm here to save you money. So let's figure out the best way to do that. So then we include the drugs. We've talked about the doctors. Let me include the drugs in this conversation. So he's taking 20 milligrams once a day, so 30 a month. We'll save that one. I mean, yes, you're taking metformin as well, sir. Is that correct?
Yes, metformin. Yes. I have the beaties.
So which metformin is this person taking? Okay. This is where it can get real crazy as to how much this stuff costs. Most people are taking metformin HCl. Most of them are taking a 500 milligrams. So you notice that the computer's already throwing this stuff in there for you. Super easy to quote. Okay. Most of the time, if you've called about final expense and you tried to get them on a final expense plan or life insurance or whatever, you already have this information. So you can put this information in there before you even get them on the phone and just verify that the information's correct. I'll show you how to do that in just 1 second. But he's taking 500 milligrams. He's taking it 4 times a day. Sorry, Skylar, I'm making you ill.
That's okay. Eloquent.
Oh, now you're trying to get all fancy on me. Now I can't spell Eliquis. E-L-I-Q. There you go.
They're right down there. Yep.
And make Google your best friend on the planet.
Yes.
When they start throwing a drug name at you and they're like, oh, it's the generic for Crestor. Okay. Google it. Google is your best friend on the planet, because I'm like, none of these are actual words in the English language. So how much Eliquis are you taking every day, sir?
5 milligrams.
5 milligrams
once a day.
Once a day. And once again, you notice how it was 5 milligrams here and 2.5. The computer is going to bounce it to 60. Which tier am I putting him on? Okay. But he's on a 5 milligram once a day. So we'll save that medication. I don't want to get in the way of the doctor. So I just put in here where this is what this person's taking. It's up to the doctor to change their drugs. Okay.
Gabapentin.
All righty. Yeah, there we go. What milligrams are you taking, sir?
300 milligrams.
300 milligrams. So I'm assuming that's the capsule version. Is that correct?
It is a capsule. Yeah. And just stepping out of the roll real quick, make sure that you're finding out whether it's a capsule or a tablet, okay? Because that can be, again, the difference of thousands of dollars with some of these medications, depending on if it's capsule or tablet. So, yeah, make sure you're getting that information.
Any other medications that you're taking currently, sir?
Let's put an insulin in there.
Oh,
Take an insulin. Let's do a Novolog or Humalog. You can do Humalog.
Now, did you know that there were insulin generics available.
Yep.
Now, have you ever tried that? Would you like to talk to your doctor about trying that?
Yeah, I could give it a shot. If anything's cheaper. Yeah.
Okay. So now you notice that when I clicked yes, now there will be conversations between whatever plan we write Skylar on and the doctor to approve this. The plan can't just up and decide that they're going to move this person without doctor approval. Okay. So please make sure you're telling your client that there's going to be conversations in the background before any of this changes. Okay. If you've read in AHIP or any of these certifications about the continuation of whatever drug, if he's transitioning from one drug to another, they will give him his human log until the paperwork about this is cleared up. Okay. So that's where to put into application where you're reading in AHIP about this continuation of drug coverage. If you want to understand how that works, it is right here. Okay. And you can tell your client that, hey, this is all going to work in the background. They're going to figure that out. They will, if it's not worked out before your effective date, you will continue on your human log until further notice. Are you comfortable with that, Mr. Super Agent?
Yes.
So we'll save that medication because we're going to try to put him on that rather than the higher non-generic Humalog. Okay.
Yep. I have one more.
Oh, you have one more. Sorry. I got all excited about moving on. Go ahead, sir.
Rosuvastatin, ROS. Got to be on a statin.
Yeah. And this is where, okay, what is this the generic of? Right. This one is the Crestor.
Yes.
Yeah. So if my client says, "Oh, I'm on the generic of Crestor," and I can't come up with that in my head while I'm either on the phone or in their kitchen, Google it.
Yeah.
And what's the generic of Crestor? Boom. And then, oh, okay, you're on the Rosuvastatin. Perfect. What milligrams are you taking of that?
Yep. Oftentimes, if they start to do stuff like that and it's coming up a bunch, I'll just say, go grab your medications. Let's get your bottles.
Yeah.
Let's read it right off of, just so we're not making any mistakes.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Now that's where this is also nice because back in my old caveman days of me writing this down on pieces of paper, none of these are English words. So I'm spelling stuff like garbage and then trying to look it up in a dictionary like a crazy person. So is it the 5 milligrams that you're currently taking?
It is the 5 milligrams. Once a day.
Perfect. Now, do you have a preferred pharmacy that you would like to pick up your medications?
Let's do Walgreens.
Okay. You're on a Humana Walmart PPO and you get your drugs at Walgreens. Are you insane?
That could be why I'm having a problem, huh?
You do that. I'm assuming you don't get any extra assistance with paying for your drug coverage. Is that correct? Okay.
So with that being said, what we just laughed about is here I'm a client. I've got a preferred pharmacy with my current plan. I'm using not a preferred pharmacy. This is a time to educate our clients on that and say, hey, well, if you go over to this pharmacy with this particular plan, you're going to save this much money on all these drugs. I did that with my own father when I was just getting into this business. He was using a particular pharmacy, and I think it was actually Walgreens. Now, not to say Walgreens is the most expensive out there, but sometimes they are. But just because he wasn't using the right pharmacy for his plan, he was paying like $300 a month too much money back in the day. And so we got him into the right pharmacy, and he saved a ton of money. So, yeah.
And the best part about this is the computer is going to take that information into account, because when we go to down here at the problem bottom with view all plans, all of this information as we go into, I'll get into the rest of the needs analysis, but all of this information, whether it's Walgreens or whether it's the generic insulin, the computer is going to stack rank. This is going to be the best plan for you based off of this information. Once we click on view plans, I'll actually show you how to flex that information. Like Skylar was talking about, I need to get you in a different pharmacy. I flip Walgreens to Walmart, and then boom, all of the pricing changes and the plans start stacking differently. So I would never say to my client that they're insane for picking up their Walgreens drugs on a Walmart plan. They're insane, but that is immediately a red flag to me. Okay. Just subconsciously, I'm like, whoa, like we're doing this backwards. Okay. Whoever the agent was that put them on this plan did not go through their needs analysis in a good enough way. Now, let's just say they were at a Walmart and then he moved 5 miles down the street and Walgreens is right on the corner, right? That changes the scenario, okay? But if none of this is information that has changed, the previous agent did not do their job efficiently. But anyway, as we go back into role playing here real quickly, now that we've kind of gotten all the basic information about you, the client, and like I said, I can do all of this prior to getting them on the phone. Okay. So let's just say Skylar is supposed to call me. It's 11:28. He's supposed to call me at 11:30 for an appointment. We've done the needs analysis. I know this information. Now I'm literally going to start quoting him a plan. Okay. So in those first 30 seconds, in that first 60 seconds, they want me to start saying, I offer this many plans available in your area if this is a sale over the phone. Well, how in the world am I supposed to know that? Because he's in a different zip code than me. Okay. I'm going to show you how Sunfire Matrix is going to do that as well. So this will keep you compliant. You will ask all of the compliant questions that are not necessary for the sale. We're going to even get into what is the important part of what do you have now? What do you enjoy about your plan? We're about to do what do you enjoy and what do you add, right? He mentioned that he liked to be able to go see his doctors wherever he wanted to go see them, right? Which made me believe he didn't have a PCP, right? He does have a PCP. Great, wonderful. We got one quarterback that's driving this whole train. Putting him in a PCP into an MAPD is not a problem at all. So now we get into what do you enjoy and what do you want to add, right? What do you do in your spare time? That form and needs. He's telling me he's traveling. So I already know that I got to keep a frequent traveler in there, right? I already know that. So because you're on a med subsidy, do you like the ability to move around or do you like just, I want to see my doctors that I'm used to seeing. I don't need to be bouncing around from doctor to doctor. But since you travel, which way do you prefer to have your doctors work?
I'd like to be open. I'd like to be able to use who I need to use wherever I'm at.
Okay. That immediately tells me, and I can click on this little question mark here. It's going to immediately tell me that I want out-of-network doctors. So a PPO is going to be the option. Okay. That's also an easier fit. I just had a client this past weekend, talked about a plan G, right? We then talked about N because the premium was cheaper, just like we talked about with the CSG conversation last week. Now I bumped up the hospital indemnity. We're going to quote the cancer plan, so on and so forth. He's going to go on a PPO. So meds up to PPO is an easy transition if we cover it properly. We know we need to keep him on insulin savings because he's on insulin, right? Is there any other things like dental or vision that you want to make sure that you're covering?
Dental and hearing. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So based off of that basic information, this computer is going to cycle out certain plans. Okay. You're going to notice because flexibility to see any provider, frequent traveler, you're going to notice when we click on view all plans, I'm going to get more PPOs at the top, generally speaking. This is the plan he's currently on. Notice PPO, PPO, PPO. The computer's already doing the homework for me. Okay. But we get into you're in this particular zip code, first 60 seconds of the phone call. Mr. Super Agent, I want to make sure that you understand that of the plans that are available in your area, if I click this unappointed button or appointed only and go to unappointed, there are 38 results. If I click on appointed, there are 18 results. Okay. So of the plans available in your area, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 carriers with 38 total plans. Of those, I am able to talk to you about 18 of those plans. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you have further questions about any other plans, feel free to refer to Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE for more information.
Yes.
Compliance box checked. And now we roll into, now we're going to start making the plan recommendations. Okay. So I can look it up by plan features. I can look it up by preferred pharmacy. If he's hard and fast, if Walmart's where he wants to stay, we'll keep him on Walmart. Wonderful. Walgreens, sorry. That gives me 2 PPOs that I'm appointed with. Okay. Then we do all the ones that I'm not appointed with. Now that's 16.
Yeah, I don't need to stay on Walgreens.
Okay. Let's say there's a brand that he wants to keep. I can sort those out. We can keep it under premium. All doctors must be in network. That gives me nobody. Okay, so he will bounce in and out of network. Not a problem. We're looking at PPOs anyway. No big deal. Okay. So let's just kind of go through here real quick. We'll compare a few plans. We'll compare a United Healthcare plan, the Well Care plan, and a Humana plan, since you're already on Humana. Okay. You see here how if I click on these little buttons, they pop up, right? It will stack rank them based off of recommended plans, total estimated cost. Here's your total estimated cost.
Yeah, and that's the first thing, Paul, just stepping out of character here real quick. That's one of the first things that I will always notice, especially coming out of that PP. Look at your estimated annual cost. So right off the bat, I'm going towards a sales. Hey, look how much money we're going to save you.
Boom.
Look how much money you're going to save each year by just going to one of these other plans. And so Mr. Client here was talking about his premiums and how much money he's selling. So you key in right there first thing on
this is only the PDP cost, not the MedSup premium either.
Right, exactly.
So we're starting to really hammer down. Okay, let's take $150 a month of premium off the table, and we go to Cigna. I'm just not appointed in these states, right? But let's just say Humana, right?
Right.
Go to a $0 premium, and his drug costs and everything involved drop down to $888.
Yep.
Versus the premium plus the drug cost plus the PDP premium plus. So we really start crushing all of these premiums real quick. So, hey, I start pressing on that pedal with my client. Then understand here, I am kind of reversing the way this works. Okay. Instead of pay up front, it's pay as you go. Okay. These are your estimated drug costs, so on and so forth. Now, we talked about flexing this information. Okay. Right now, his drug costs are this because he's on this plan that's supposed to base on Walmart. Let's just say he goes, oh, no, it's not Walmart or Walgreens, it's Walmart. So I go in here and just change this to Walmart. Now, watch the prices change. It was what, $2,088 before?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, it's actually cheaper at Walgreens. It went up.
Wow. Interesting.
Did not expect that. Okay.
No.
But if we change that medication from the lisinopril back to, not lisinopril.
The Humalog?
The Humalog. Sorry, cancel. I got all excited. We're going to get you off lisinopril, sir.
So just go ahead and type it up in the medication name, Paul.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
Whoop, let me go back in here. Go in here. Let's just change. Let's add a
Go to,
medication.
yeah.
Humalog. Boom. Boom. Add. Then remove the other one. Remove. Save. Now watch this number change again. It was $2,092. The computer's going to recalculate. Now he's at $2,255 because I changed one drug. Okay. So that's how you can kind of play with it and say, hey, I recommend that you have a conversation with your doctor. Okay. You can't make that change. The doctor makes that change, makes that decision, right? Or, hey, if we look at changing your location of pickup, let's just go from Walmart to mail order.
Let's go to mail order. Yeah.
Notice how they make this nice big link right here? I want to use mail order. Now watch all these prices change. Oh, it still stayed up there. That's amazing.
Wow.
That's a bad PDP. So anyway, we've played enough with that. So let's just say we were kind of looking at all these different plans. You can flex the system to show you each one of these individually by changing this. You can look at your recommended plans. It'll break out dental, vision, and hearing are included or are not. Over the counter included, transportation included. Does it give Part B money back? Yes or no? All of these can be seen real quick off of these. Okay. But let's just say we want to look at the top three that I can sell for my client. I'm going to click this one and compare, this one and compare, this one and compare. I can email this to my client if their information's already in there, or I can put in their information to email it to my client. They can look it over at their leisure and then enroll later. Okay. If we email it to their client, they're going to see this comparison. Now here's a comparison of all three plans: United Healthcare, Humana, and WellCare. 3 different carriers, 3 different certifications. I didn't have to go to 3 different portals to do my homework. Sunfire Matrix did it all for me. Okay. Now let's
notice up there, if they choose one on this email, they can enroll themselves as well.
Took words right out of my mouth. I was like, let me get a drink and then we'll address that. But if this is what their email will look like. So if they want to email, look at the email and then contact you, you just click the comparison the way you did for them, and you'll see exactly on the screen exactly what they're seeing. So you can scroll through line by line with them, go through the entire summary of benefits, so on and so forth. Okay. Compare each thing with them, all of the benefits of all 3 plans, all 3 carriers, so on and so forth. If they decide they want to enroll, boom, they just click the button up there at the top. Okay. If you want to compare their drug costs, for instance, he's on Humalog and he's on, what was it, Eliquis?
Yeah.
This is how your drug costs are going to break down in each one of these plans. Oof. That's a mountain.
I don't think I do that United Healthcare plan.
No. We're going to skip over that United Healthcare plan. Okay. And I know exactly why. United hates Humalog. They like Humulin. As soon as you said Humalog, I was like, United Healthcare is completely off the board. I was like, not happening. So no, those are things you learn over time of getting used to learning these plans and so on and so forth and how they're built, because each carrier is required to cover 2 drugs of every category. That's it. Okay. So when I say a category, insulin is a category. High blood pressure is a category. Those types of things, they have to recover. Every one of them has to cover at least 2. So that's part of the reason why those drug costs on that PDP may have been insanely high, because the PDP may have a smaller formulary or list of drugs. Okay. So let's just say that we decide we're definitely not enrolling in United Healthcare. because he needs to stay on Humalog. He wants to stay on Humalog. He doesn't want to mess with his doctor. That's a bunch of craziness. We're not doing that. So we decided we're going to go with the Humana plan. Okay. So you click on enroll, and then we get into I need to make sure you understand what you are enrolling in. Okay. Humana has what they call Centerwell Pharmacy. Sorry, it took me a minute to pull the name out of my brain. Centerwell Pharmacy will actually contact him about that same insulin. Hey, you might want to switch to this. You could save X amount of dollars. So you have to get permission for Humana to contact the client. And sometimes they can do that before the actual enrollment happens. So educate your client on the fact that this will happen. Okay. Get their permission. Yes. Skylar says, yeah, let's do this. Rock and roll. On to the next. Okay. So we've agreed that we're going to share this information. We've agreed that there's a $0 premium. He wants to enroll in the PPO, so on and so forth. So I click on start application. It is important that you understand the benefits in this plan. Okay. Click on this little button or click on this button. If you've already gone through everything on that needs analysis, you already know you're 100,000% compliant. Click that button, skip it. If you have any questions whatsoever, make sure you click this because it's going to make you check did you cover the monthly premium? Did you cover, is there a Part B reimbursement? This. It covers all of the benefits that you are required to stay compliant. So you just go down your little happy checklist and you are a compliant agent that has done a compliant sale and covered all of the important, whether he brought up glaucoma tests or not, right? I have to cover preventive services. Okay. Emergency care. If we didn't talk about emergency care, I still have to cover the $100. Okay. So make sure you understand that. But Sunfire Matrix is going to do it for you. So rather than me actually go through all of this craziness and talk through all of that, we're just going to assume we did with that with Skylar. Okay. So now I click OK. Do you understand the benefits of this plan?
Yes.
Super agent. Yes. Now I have a recorded yes. I am 100,000% compliant. I move on to the actual application. And here's where I'll fill out the members' information based off of their personal information, address, Medicare number, effective date, so on and so forth. So that is how Medicare or Medicare Advantage plans are written through Sunfire Matrix. You simply just walk through the steps. It takes you step by step compliantly through every piece of the puzzle that you are required to sell over the phone. And make sure that your clients understand that they are moving from a Medicare supplement to a PPO. And if I'm partnering that with a Medicare hospital indemnity and maybe a cancer plan, make sure we're covering that and that the understanding of the client is there. But that's essentially how you walk through the sale. Any questions?
No, not for me. And I don't see any on the chat here. So if there are any questions, go ahead and start posting them now.
Yeah, I'm almost out of
coffee. So yeah, so essentially the rest of this is just filling out an application. We do this all the time. They're going to need their Medicare red, white, and blue card. You're going to need to know their A and B start date. Let's see. A couple of things are coming in here. Diego says, thank you. This is great. Appreciate that, Diego. Keegan, really helpful information the second week in a row. So last week was good too. So everybody can thank Paul on that one.
I see Keegan's question about, yes, you actually do not have to
do it through the carriers. Yes, yeah. You can complete it through Sunfire and not have to do it through the carrier. As long as you are appointed with that one through an integrity channel, you will be able to complete it on Sunfire. So
that is correct.
Always at this time.
At 11 o'clock at this time. They are also saved on the YouTube channel and as well on the Facebook page.
Yep.
So if you can't make this meeting at 11 o'clock on Tuesday, because hopefully you have a client appointment, I don't want you to be here. Please follow up with it and watch it later.
Yeah, if you don't have a client appointment or another money-making activity, feel free to join in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time.
I will let Skylar answer that question. He's more in tune with Washington State than I am.
In other states, but my local state is Washington. No carrier I know of. Okay. So Diego, are you doing any type of Medicare at this point?
Oh, it's interesting. We have all these Washington people on the phone.
We got a bunch of Washington people here. Okay. Wow. It's a good thing we chose a Washington zip code. Not yet. Okay. So essentially, you need to go through the FFL Health channel, and you're going to have the link for ffl.health, and you'll want to sign up through there, and then put either Paul. Yeah, go ahead and hit the get contracted link there, Paul, and then you're going to put in a request for that, and then you're going to be able to put in there FFL agency name and then submit. And then after that submit, is there a spot where they put our information in there so we can make sure they go into our downline?
There used to be.
There used to be. Okay.
Full legal name. Da, 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 da.
Okay, so when you do that, it's going to be the current agency.
Yeah, that's their current FFL Life upline.
Correct.
If that agency has an admin, if there's an admin address for that agency, and what commission.
Yeah, I don't think those are required.
No.
So, okay. So you would go in and fill this out, and then we'll get you into our group. Does that make sense? Oh, so Diego and.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, and then we can put. Paul, do you want to post in there your email address, and I'll put my email address as well, and then
sure.
we can send them through on here to make sure that we get them in the right spot.
Any other questions that we can answer while we're randomly typing in information?
I think that's it. Yeah. So feel free to reach out to us. These calls are going to be every Tuesday, like we said, 8 Pacific and 11 Eastern time. And we'll just do our best to help you guys out.
I'm glad you're here, Skylar, doing that Pacific East Coast math.
Well, living on both coasts, I have to do it because I got a lot of agents still out in Washington. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, all right. Well, very good. So that brings us basically to our time. Thank you, everybody, for joining in, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you, Paul.
No problem. Thank you. You all have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye now.
Mm-hmm.